conversation will rule the nation on face-to-face basis when we blast off. It's real on the dance floor, on the turf of the court. Yeah, we here for the sport, so take your mask off so I can hear your ass talk. Let me hear you explain. Hold the thoughts on your brain. Is your ass smart? Spit facts and real talk. I need that shit from the street that make you think real deep and take a long walk. This podcast is telling it with my man JD Fence and Skizzo Blizzo.
What it do, family? Welcome back to the house, man. Master Uncovered Podcast.
You.
You know who it is, man. J Defense, JAYDFENCE, all platforms. Who else we got?
It's your boy Hollywood Skiz. You know we back in the place again, man. Trying to keep it consistent. I know you all keep saying, well, they ain't on last week. Where they at? We just trying to get it together, man. The holidays, the illness, a couple of deaths in the family, so don't worry, we're trying to keep it consistent, but we're here anyway. And tonight, we got a good one tonight. Special guest in his house. Who in the house today?
I've known these two extinguished gentlemen since they were teenagers. My name is Charlie Rose, and I'm honored to be discovered on the Mask Uncovered.
Oh, thank you. Oh, he's a new host. I better do good tonight. But like we do with all guests, we're going to go through a quick bio, so bear with me for a minute. So, my man's done a lot of things in the city, man. So
And he's old.
He's not old. Look at him. And I'm going to have him put on the cool glasses. He had some cool glasses on earlier. He's going to put the cool glasses on again. But let me get into it. My man Charlie Rose has been a youth worker, organizer, and entrepreneur in Boston for the past 40 years. He was the director of the youth services for the City of Boston's community centers, now Boston Centers for Youth and Families, BCYF. For 9 years during the Mayor Flynn administration. Before that, he was a Vista volunteer and a community organizer. He is an accomplished trainer, presenter, facilitator, auctioneer, poet, and public speaker.
Don't believe the hype.
Poet? Ooh.
Don't you know it?
He is currently Senior Vice President and Dean of City Year. He has helped build City Year into a national and international model for youth community services organizations and has been involved in all aspects of organizational development for the past 34 years. City Year's 3,000 AmeriCorps membership currently serve full-time in over 350 schools across 29 U.S. sites in 25 states. Impressive, cuz. He co-founded the City of Boston's National Recognized Violence and Gang Prevention Program called the Street Worker Program and has been a leader in the community's peace movement in Boston for nearly 2 generations. He was the co-founder and co-owner of a Boston neighborhood restaurant, Bella Luna, you guys remember that, right? An entertainment complex, which includes a nightclub and a lounge, a Milky Way Lounge, if you guys know that. The for-profit ventures was started as a community economic development project in the Jamaica Plains section of Boston 26 years ago and was forced to close permanently due to the pandemic. The pandemic put a damp on a lot of things. He currently serves on the board of directors of the Jackson Square LLC for Urban Edge Community Development Corporation and is board chair of the statewide youth leadership organization, Project 351, as well as serving on the board of advisors of the UMass Boston Sports Leadership Degree Program. In 2011, Charlie was awarded an honorary doctorate from UMass Boston. He's also the father of 2 beautiful children, AJ and Ruby, and the husband of the amazing Carol Downs.
Bro,
The last part is the only important thing on that whole list, but thank you for sharing all that.
Great accomplishments, and that's just what we could fit here, so that's what the interview's for, because he's done a lot more. Now we're going to let my man JD kick off.
Definitely, and I mean, that's just the paperwork, we have to read the bio and stuff like that, but this guy, he's been, obviously all the stuff that you've seen, for me personally, like you said, met met him when I was a teenager. Like, so he's a great friend, a mentor, not just to me, but to, you know, all my peers, what have you. I mean, I know he's changed the lives of hundreds of kids, and it's like through his guidance and teachings that, you know, swayed some of us that was on the fence or like was involved in negative things, just showing us there's a better way, you know, like there's education, there's positive things you could do. And, you know, it just continues to go with this guy. Like, you know, I thought at first, you know, okay, here's somebody that, you know, teenager, you're going to meet somebody that's just trying to help you out. And then, of course, it's obvious he's white. So it's like somebody, you know, you think they're just dropping in.
I didn't know.
No, but like, you know, and you're a teenager, so you're naive or whatever, or you're ignorant to the facts. But it's like, all right, here's this guy coming to you like, oh yeah, he's just trying to do his good deed for the day, his good deed for the month, and here it is, damn near 40 years later, that I could really call him a friend,
Right.
you know, and it's like, you know, still having that same input, that same positive mindset, that same teachings. Like he wasn't there just to get a rep. He wasn't there just because he was trying to get a paycheck that week, that month. Like he really genuinely from his heart was trying to do something in the community, and he just keeps increasing and increasing. So,
hey, you forgot that I schooled all of you guys in
Oh,
basketball in the
hell of a
early
ball
days,
player.
okay? That
White men can't jump.
Yo, hell of a ball player too. Man,
He's all right.
Well, also, now all of this is done from Boston or whatever, but tell people where you from originally.
Originally,
Originally.
I grew up in Lower East Side of Manhattan. I came here after dropping out of college. I was at Clark University. I came here to Boston to be a youth worker. And that's where I met you, both of you, and all the other kids in town. And I appreciate all the kind things you said about me, Jack.
Oh man.
We've had a friendship for 40 years.
Right.
And we've had a lot of youth workers in our era coming through the projects, and I grew up on Mount Pleasant, Forest Street, but hung down the projects. And we've seen a lot come through, but a lot we seen through. A lot was there for a paycheck, and that's where they was put or whatever. The difference in Charlie, and I'm not being funny, he's colorless to us. Charlie was in the projects helping us because he wanted to see a change. And like Jack said, he's genuine. Like, this is how I pose my next question, Charlie. Like, why was it so different for you than others? Like, what was the passion to see us improve and be successful? Like, what for? Why? You didn't know us. You didn't owe us anything.
Yeah, but so for me, I grew up in Manhattan, grew up in New York City as a ball player, as a street kid, Lower East Side. New York, everybody's everybody, like you said. I mean, yes, it's the black kids, the Puerto Rican kids, the Asian kids, the whatever, but we're all city kids. I come to Boston a few years after busing, and it's like weird, tense, like violent tension, and white and black don't talk. I go down to the Shelburne Center because someone told me it was a place to play ball. I walk in and they're like, "What are you here for?" I said, "Oh, I heard you had a gym. I was going to play ball tonight." And they were like, "Yeah, but why did you come here?" And I'm like, I'm used to New York City. I go play in Harlem, I play in Brooklyn, I play all over. Like, I heard you had good ball players, man. So I go in the gym. The only white guy in the gym. Yeah. But I'm used to that. It's no big deal. But end of the night, hey, you want to join the Sunday League? You want to play in the RBA? You want to play in the NBA? Yeah, I'm on all these teams. And we won the Sunday League in my early days at the Shelburne. And I got to know Miss Harris, who's a real legend. That's a real legend in this town.
Right.
So you ask why, and what you talked about, what you both talked about is just being authentic, being real.
Yep.
And you all could tell if someone's real, and I cared, because I came from a background of not finishing high school. Parents broke up when my brother overdosed. I'm still his guardian. He's been, right? So I knew what the streets were like. I watched the whole civil rights movement and Vietnam War and heroin and everything else. So to me, the projects at Orchard Park and Gallivant Boulevard and Archdale, and I was comfortable. And it was amazing talent and genius.
So doing community work, like, okay, so you drop out of college, you move to Boston, and you get this job. Like, did this job fall in your lap? Did you look for a job doing youth work? Were you looking for a job at Papa Gino's? This one?
No, I was already an organizer. I was already a community organizer because when I dropped out of school, John O'Connor, rest in peace. His birthday's today, Jack. And John got me into community organizing, and so when I came here, my first job was at Lena Park on American Legion Highway, and I dealt with the Franklin Hill Giants and the Franklin Field and that whole thing between those two neighborhoods. And then when Ray Flynn got to be the mayor, I actually worked for Mel King to become the mayor. I thought Mel would be the mayor. He's still with us, which is lucky. But Flynn's people, when he got in, said, "Hey, we know you. What do you want to do?" I said, I want to be working youth services. So they sent me to community centers, and that's where I became director of youth services and started the work. Because Boston needed it.
Right. And with your background coming from New York, did that give you an extra edge, a toughness dealing with some of the violence and the youth you had to deal with here? Was it like familiar to you what was going on here with what you've seen already?
Yes, because New York has the best, the most, and the worst of everything, right? And so hardcore gangs and drugs and violence, it's there, but also everything else. So coming here, right after busing, like I said, and when I came to Boston, there was the beginning of crack cocaine and the beginning of weapons flooding into urban areas across the country. Now, there's more guns in America than people, so. But you remember that era when crack first came and it became.
Was that like middle 80s?
Yeah, early to mid 80s.
Yeah, definitely.
And then people were both dealing crack and getting guns to protect themselves.
Yep. Yeah.
And shooting each other. I figure it was 86 was 140 murders in Boston. Most of them juveniles, most of them black on black.
Yeah. 89.
89.
It reached the worst killing ever. I mean, we had more killings in any year in '89.
Yep.
Now, even with that, right? Like, what I know about community work, because being a peer leader myself, working for those programs, 13 to 17 or what have you, the paycheck was peanuts. I mean, like, I think we was getting 2 cents a day or something, like whatever it was. But,
Tito Jackson's always bugging me. Tito was a peer leader when you were too. He's right. You're right. It was no pay, but it was money. It was
right. Now, well, it was something. Well,
8 hours a week.
It
was 8 hours a week.
So we had, and that's what that always like affected me so much because we only had like 2 hours. We was working like out of the rent office.
Yep.
And it was like just for that 2 hours a day, it was kind of like.
You remember that little office above the rental office on the second floor, Lenny and Kevin?
Like for 2 hours a day, we had like this new world. It's like you walked into that door and like, we were learning, planning trips and activities. Like we would go to like different amusement parks, whatever. But like in that room, that like it was kind of like the brainchild for creating things to do. So when you was in that room for 2 hours, you wasn't on the streets, you wasn't at home, you wasn't in the park. Like so you
you were planning positive activities for your peers.
But once you left that door, now you had to become. You can't live among the wolves and not be a wolf. So that was the one thing that, and I know you. Obviously, nobody could, but I know we couldn't make that a 24-hour job. We couldn't make it, but it was like, it sucked to just only give these kids 2 hours. But with all of that said, like, the community, those jobs don't pay. Like, I still know a lot of ladies, I don't have to say their names, but they still live in the community.
Yep.
So some of these people I would meet and love and want to be around more, and I'm, okay, let's go to your house. And they're like, okay, and I live right here. Like, we're walking to the house, and I'm like, wait, like, so I'm in the projects, and you're in the projects. My idea, even as a kid, I used to be like, okay, I want to leave I want to buy a home. Like, I still want to give to the community. I still want to have, those things with the kids, but I also want to be able to provide. So did you ever come to that road where it was, I'm not making a lot of money working, and I don't need to know how much money you work, but I know it's not a lot of pay, but did you ever think about, okay, what I'm doing is is not enough. Like maybe I should go and make more millions. I could make millions, and then I could donate. Like I could donate computers to the Boys and Girls Club. Could you do more with more money, or did you always want to be boots on the ground? Like, am I clear with like the dynamic of the two?
Yeah, my whole life, Jack, has been boots on the ground. My whole life is to be in with and not. Even at City Year, I traveled to all 29 cities. I met core members in all our, in South Africa, in London, in every U.S. city. I want to know the reality of what's on the ground, and at a certain point, I also said, I'm not doing this unless I get paid better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're young, and what we were trying to do with the peer leaders and youth workers is plant seeds in people that, like, some exposure, some think about decisions you get ready to make. Because like you said, you're there for 2 hours, and then you're back out
Right.
in the park. You're
Right.
back out on Eustis. You're back out. I'm not trying to put down any streets. I'm
Right.
just saying
Right.
the reality when you guys were young. But my career, my place is to be with and to be in. And that's other people, it's not everybody's place, but that's been always my place and where I'm best.
And this might be a question for both of you guys, because I'm someone outside looking in. I was never involved in the peer leaders, never.
No.
So did that build structure, and was the payment more of the experience of going through that than us? Like you said, you had to leave. You was 8 hours doing that, and then you leave and come back to the belly of the beast. But we out there those same 8 hours, the whole 8 hours,
Right.
and maybe you missed a shooting that could have been for you. Maybe you missed a drug deal that could have gone wrong, and you could have been in jail. So, did it help build your character?
I would say yes. Like definitely. Like you said, just it's tough because you're still a part of the street. So like just for those 2 hours, it's like. You didn't change your skin, like you didn't change who you are, like you were able to escape, but now you're right back in it. Your boys are sitting right there, like here's the 40, here's the blunt, like here's the music, like here's the guns, the crack. So it's like you can't say like, oh well, tomorrow for 2 hours I'm gonna be a peer leader. So like no,
No, that's not my question.
No. I'm explaining. I'm breaking it down. So that even dynamic of playing both sides, I will say that. The benefits from those 2 hours, the benefits of being involved in those programs, though, it made me want to be more, see more, do more.
Uh-huh.
I was able, the cats that I was going back to the block with, they were there the whole time. That's
Right.
all they saw.
Right.
And then me personally, I'm like, okay, well, damn, we just watched a video on a ski trip in Colorado, and like we're gonna go to Maine next month. So like I'm already planning. I'm like, wow. So I saw a video like. We wasn't gonna watch no ski video at my boy's house,
Right.
so just already in your mind the brain is huge, and when it has an impact on you as a youth, the whole time I'm like, damn, there's so much more out here. Like, okay,
It's about horizons. It's about expanding horizons, and you had that.
That's
And
what I'm
that's
saying.
what it is.
That's my right.
So his teachings and somebody like a Jeff Bino, a Lenny Jackson, Kev Gaskins, like things like that. If you could spark
Legends,
something,
all
if
three
you could
legends.
spark something in these kids, where, like you said, it makes them think twice about, oh, you know what, do I want to get in that car right now?
Exactly.
So yes,
That's
it
what I
has
meant,
a
exactly.
powerful impact, and that's why it's ironic that they get paid peanuts to do this community work, when the work they're doing, you couldn't pay them enough.
Check
That's
this.
not the payment.
Check this. Our society puts a lot of money on the back end. Psychiatric, law enforcement, hospitals, prisons, billions. On the front end, teachers, youth workers, community centers, peanuts.
Right.
Right.
We'll pay for it on the back end.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
It makes no sense. It never has made sense.
Instead of assisting them, helping them, let's
Starting-
assist them when it's too late. It's better to heal them once they're hurt. So in other words, I could give you the pill once you have high blood pressure. But right now, eat all of this shit, drink all of, do all of this dumb stuff, so I can then try to help you. So like now I'm looking for people for help. When you could have taught me earlier, I didn't have to get blood pressure. I could have been eating well then. So it's the same thing. It's like, have these programs initially, put all of this money up front, have these teachers invested in these students, things of that nature, these mentorship programs, and then cut out, you'll lose half those jail cells.
And do you guys think, because looking back now, hindsight 2020, statistically, if you look back, it did make a difference from, if I look at all my peers who were involved in the peer, what did you call it? The
Peer leadership.
Peer leadership.
Yeah.
They went a different path. Most of them went a different path
Yes.
than the ones that were out there 24/7. So if you really want to look at it that way, it made a big difference.
There's the
that
data,
being-
right?
Yep,
There's the
exactly.
data. That's what we're talking
exactly.
about.
Without
We
that,
can only hire 8 each year.
Right.
And we could name them by name.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you're doing
Yeah.
well.
that's what I'm doing.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. That's what
Yeah, I
I'm saying.
love that.
Right, a lot of those peer leaders, I mean, everything, like community organizers, writing books, producing movies. I
Right.
mean, we had a few that, slipped through the cracks or what have you,
course.
but they're
Nothing's
still better.
100%,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, but you're talking about having an impact on these communities. Even if you change one, like I was coaching basketball, boys and girls from 3rd grade to 8th grade for my kids, right? So, and I used to say, like, even if you just get one, just to change their attitude on life. Basketball is more than just, I always looked at basketball way more than just a sport itself.
too,
Like,
yeah.
you can learn so much through basketball.
Right.
Companionship, brotherhood,
Discipline.
so much. So,
Right.
and and some of these kids, like their mother might have signed them up. I hate to say it, but it's the single mother world era type of thing. But so it's like, all right, I got to sign you up for something, drop them off, or sometimes I have to go pick them up or drop them off. But it was like, if you could just spark something in these kids, like just, is something better out there for you, or like this sports can help you actually go to college. Like that basketball actually paid for some of my schooling. I couldn't believe it. Like me, like y'all giving me money to play basketball. Like, so it can happen.
And I think I benefited on the back end myself because I wasn't involved in any of those programs. But to give Charlie his roses, his flowers while he's still here, he didn't.
I don't look well. Still here in the studio.
It was more than a full-time job with him. After hours is when I met him. Like he
true,
still
yeah.
spent time
That's true.
when he didn't have to be down the projects. And I take my journey with him through just conversation, and he could take me places that maybe he physically took you guys. So I benefited. Maybe I cheated, but I got my feed too.
What I noticed, right, was you both had your foot in both worlds.
Yep.
You were deep into one world,
Yep.
but you also were really interested and wanted, kind of want to be with this world too.
1,000%.
Yeah, so-
1,000%.
And look at your life, like we were talking earlier. It's a journey, and sometimes going through hard stuff or making mistakes helps in getting your feet on the ground. And some people it takes a little longer. That's
Right. And it's much greater later if you do make it, because a lot of the people that I know didn't make it. That statistic shows the other way.
And that's the sad conversation that we continually have, right? And we continue it now.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But- No, go
because
ahead.
looking at today, right? Like, so the impact that you had on us in the 80s and 90s and stuff, and I remember going to, what was that at UMass we used to have? The
Youth
big,
Congress?
The Youth Congress. Man, that was beautiful when we were linking the peers with like people in, it was like police commissioner.
Yeah, all the top
mayor,
brass
all
from the
top
city
brass
with
from the
all the
city.
young people
Was-
from
it was-
every neighborhood. It was cool.
I mean, I wish we had something like that again, but
Shit, I didn't
either
know
way,
about that.
I'm looking at, that was beautiful, man.
Yeah?
Because then some of us peer leaders, we got to like run different workshops or what have you, so like we could run on gangs.
So as a youth worker,
teenage-
to have a almost 50-year-old former member talking and remembering certain days 40 years ago, Jack,
Yeah.
35 years ago, it's amazing for me.
So there go your payment. Shit, that payment is priceless.
Yeah, it is, and it keeps, and I try to pay it forward or what have you.
And
too,
you do.
man. But so, I mean, staying with like who you are and everything that went on. You see the violence that's happening today.
Yeah.
What would you suggest should be changed, or what do you look at, or what impacts are you trying to have on the community right now? Is there something you're doing specifically? Are you involved in besides city or what have you? And we're not just saying.
Well, Jackson Square, city year, just being involved in the community, but for me, the prescription is more investment younger, more community facilities, more youth workers, more mental health resources. I think is really valuable right now, coming out of the pandemic and the isolation and the fear. I think this country needs to get serious about guns. And if we got really serious about guns and made it illegal to have guns and that's controversial, not illegal, but there are responsible gun owners, but it's way out of hand. So you have mass shootings and you have easy access to a gun. How easy would it be for me to go out right now with money and get a gun? Right now.
Very easy.
How much you got?
Right? Can I get anything I want right now?
Yeah,
anything.
pretty much.
Okay. And I just think this society needs to get serious about violence. It's a public health issue. It's a serious. It's also a civil rights issue. It's also has to do with the racial reckoning in this country. There's all kinds of challenges, but we can address it, and we need to. And your show is illuminating that. Actually.
It is. It's built for that. We think we found our niche because I think when we started it, we were just trying to feel ourselves out. But I think we do a lot better with putting out positive messages than just, bullshitting around. But we're going to still have those podcasts where we have fun and talk shit. That's just going to happen. But
yeah.
I think we strive better when we're putting something positive out. We're having a positive guest, and I think that's the way
Anytime you
we're
have
going to stay.
purpose, I think you're happier. And no matter what that is, purpose, for the most part. The other thing I'm involved in is Project 351, which takes an 8th grader from every city and town in Massachusetts. There's 351 cities and towns. We start with an 8th grader on MLK weekend, bring them all to Faneuil Hall. So it ends up being about 400 young people. And then they stay active in their communities throughout the year, doing work for Cradle to Crayons, doing food drives, doing other kinds of things, bringing folks together to have conversations about bias, bigotry, hatred, discrimination, just all kinds of work that 351 is doing. Wow. So you say, how do you, and today's the 351st day of the year. So shout out to Project 351.
The start
351.
Today, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on your podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
the first white person I understand you ever had on the podcast, guys. What's going on with that?
He won't be back now.
This is great.
Scott said he voted. Skid said he voted against me being on the show.
I only own 49%, so I was outvoted by Jack.
Jack, we're calling Jack Mr. 51. You know how you say keep it 100?
That's a
Jack's
good name.
51.
It's the 51.
But I second, what Skid was saying too, is like how we really, we started, the direction was, let's figure it out. Like we were talking social topics, and we can have this conversation because y'all are friends and family. Like, this is why we have Masculine Covered. It's really just us just turning the cameras on. Like, we're not sitting up here putting on blackface and all that stuff. We're not sitting up here trying to say something to catch fire so we can get 1,000 likes. We're not for that. Like,
but after me being on the show, you can get many thousand likes.
We're gonna hold him to it.
No,
he's under contract. He signed this.
He signed an NDA. Do not be an asshole. Lovely. This is us just talking, and like you're gonna see a lot of our friends. And again, some of our friends did 20 years in the pen. That doesn't mean they're not our friend anymore. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're not just gonna have them on because they did 20 years in the pen. They did 20 years in the pen.
With a story.
And now they're out, and they have a story to tell. They changed their lives. They're giving back to the community. Shit, I don't care if they're just giving back to their family. Like, they changed their life, and that's worth having a discussion about. Not everybody has to have a book out, a video out, what have you. But if you're just moving in a positive direction, that's what we want to be around. That's what we're supporting. Yeah. And we're bigger than Boston, man. We're everywhere.
And we're still going to have fun, too, because that's part of us, too. So everything's not going to be serious. We're going to talk a lot of shit like we do. Sometimes, too.
Crack or something.
There you go.
A
little.
Now you go viral.
Speaking of an NDA, man, you keep that quiet.
We're going to talk about them bum Celtics. We're going to do all that. The no good Patriots. We're going to do all of that.
But just type in closing, though, like, Charlie, do you sleep at night just, feeling proud of yourself? Do you ever have that look-back moment? Okay, like, I equate you to, an athlete, somebody who's going through it now. Like Giannis reminds me of that person. Like, so he's won MVPs, he's won the championship, and they ask him these questions, and Giannis is like, "Look, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. Like, I'm focused, I'm locked in. I got another season. I'll worry about that when it's over." While you're still doing, I mean, after 20 years of doing it, after 30 years, have you ever sit back and say, like, wow, look at the impact I had on this person, that person, or this industry, or that industry, or this business, or that business, and you pat yourself on the back?
I'm super proud of my kids, AJ and Ruby.
Shout out AJ and Ruby.
Yes, shout out.
Just talked to AJ.
on the
Talked
show.
20 minutes ago.
I'm proud of you too. I pat on the back. I don't know. You know, I'm happy. I'm pulling my weight. You know what I mean? I'm doing. You put on this earth to help others and also get for yourself. That's okay. I got my own house. I got my own bicycle. I got a car out here.
Right.
I'm good, right? And I got my fly clothes.
Because you didn't notice you had on fly clothes till I told you.
Yeah. Wait till you put those shades on. Go to sweater too.
Oh yeah, that's
Bring it
cool.
on, baby.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
This is
Don't
the
say-
cool dude
Here's the
I
thing,
knew
man.
in the back in the day. Yes,
You
sir.
feel good if you're making a positive impact on the world. You treat each other well. Everybody you meet is fighting a battle, or everybody I meet is fighting a battle I know nothing about. So if I can be kind to them.
Everybody we meet is dancing in the streets all night long.
You scared me for a minute.
All right, I'm gonna give you my latest. Oh, we got time.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
time.
because I think you're being too modest, but you're still speaking from the heart. Because an all-star knows, like, Michael Jordan, LeBron, they know when they're LeBron, they know they're Michael Jordan, and you have to
So
know
what's
your...
my NBA comp in your minds, guys? It's got to be somebody older, retired for a while, but I'm not retired from my work. Who's my NBA comp?
Good question. These will turn
I'm
the
saying
tables
you're
on
up
us.
there. You're up there with the like you're in that top 4. For me, you're
I'm on the Mount Rushmore.
You're in the Mount Rushmore. But
point guard though.
No, I'm saying for community. I think that for a lot of people, you're in the Mount Rushmore. But I'm saying for me, I would probably put you 1, 2 like that. MJ, Kobe, like for me, because I mean,
Where's LeBron? No.
No, neither
LeBron
one.
has my top.
Kobe, okay.
Yeah.
How about
LeBron,
Jamar? How about Bill Russell?
They're not in.
No,
I'm MJ,
no.
Kobe.
You, it's a hard one.
Well, that's just me. But either way.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
See,
say
for
you was
me-
wrong. I just said that's a hard question.
Yeah, but it's
That's
always.
See, John O'Connor, rest in peace, J.O. But see, that's not community work. So, go ahead.
Yeah.
no, keep going. I got to answer this question.
Well, answer this
He
question.
posed the question. You keep going. I'm thinking
He's
of
thinking
who's
it's a
comparable.
hard question.
I answered it.
It's
Not
a
for
hard
me.
question.
You told you to answer my questions.
No, I
He
answered
asked me.
it. I answered it.
He asked me too, though.
He's 2. Yeah. So,
He asked me
So
too.
if
John
you-
Stockton.
Ooh, John
Yeah,
Stockton.
he
Because
told
he's
me
all
my
time,
question.
all
he's
time.
white.
Yeah.
No,
No,
because
'cause
Because he's tough. He is who he is.
Yep.
And all-time leader in assists. in
and
the
he could
history of-
adapt with any player and
NBA.
play anywhere. That's my
Yeah.
John
He
Stockton.
also
Tell
had
me to
Karl
rush
Malone
more.
throw the
Yeah.
ball too. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's
Stockton's a Hall of Famer.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody you mentioned's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Look, modesty I'm not sure about, but humility I pray for.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to, try to be humble, and I feel like I've had a good career and a good time and a good life, and I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I got a good maybe 10 more years of work.
And what me and Jack mean, like everyone's not gifted. I think you're gifted with, like, it's too genuine not to be a gift. You didn't study how to teach us the right directions. It was something you wanted for us. So that's what I mean. I'm not
I
trying to
just
tell
met
you.
you at your level and was honest with you, and also provided some things to do and places to go and a safe place to be in like even those 2 hours at the time when you remember you had Darryl Whiting selling drugs out of the projects. You had Charles Stewart doing his stuff in Mission Hill. This was a wild and crazy time. I just did my part, but those programs and those youth workers, you still remember Kevin and Lenny?
Of course.
They had a huge impact on your lives.
Shout out
Of course,
Kev,
Kev,
baby.
1,000%. Yep.
See you in a minute.
Simple but rare. What you're saying, you're right. It was simple, but it was rare because not everyone
And
did that.
for
Wasn't
every-
enough
and for
people
every
did it.
young
James
person.
too. Would be
Willie James.
James.
Yep.
Willie James for
Definitely.
sure.
There's a lot of names in the community.
Chris
Sherm,
Bynum.
Yeah.
Chris Bynum, definitely.
Yep. You could keep going.
Yeah.
Now we got we got a we got Maurice Smith. We
Reese,
got
shout out.
who else we got
Vine
at the gym?
Street, David
Vine
Hinton.
Street, David Hinton, Al.
And that's what we need. Shout out Al too. Like
Yep.
that's what we need for these youngsters to have the Charlie Roses, the Lenny Jacksons in their life. You know what I'm saying? To help, pull them together and guide them, give them some more direction.
Exactly.
And we can all do it. Look, you guys have a huge power as positive fathers, positive husbands, positive role models, positive members of the community.
Yeah.
And we just need more of that.
Nah, but listen, thanks for your guidance, man. Like definitely,
Oh, man,
like
it's-
it's
Definitely, we appreciate it.
yeah, it's definitely just been an honor to be, around you, be a good friend. So just want to say thanks,
You go your flowers now.
But
You don't have to
can't-
get 'em later.
it's
You got 'em
also
today.
poet. So we definitely want you to read that nice poem you have.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Excuse me,
Excuse
I'm
me,
out.
man. He's
I'm
getting
out.
battle. My man done took him out earlier.
No, so I was thinking the latest national holiday is Juneteenth,
Okay.
which commemorates the day when the Emancipation Proclamation reaches Galveston, Texas, which is 2 years after it was signed in Washington, D.C. This is in 1865, but it didn't get to Galveston until 1867. So I was thinking about that
2 years.
and that holiday, right? And the time. And I figured it's time for a new proclamation. So I wrote this little poem. It goes like this. Time for a new proclamation. I believe that love is the foundation of human relations, and we must dismantle dehumanization in our nation. That aspiration deserves immediate exploration and implementation. You see, the 21st century plantation is mass incarceration. Land of the free and number one in incarceration. Where's the condemnation? When will there be reparations? Everyone has a right to a righteous journey and a glorious destination. Folks need elevation, celebration, exaltation, not termination and annihilation. Enough with the creation of so many justifications. Enough with your infernal explanations. Enough with your constant reservations and hesitations. Enough with all your cancellation and exploitation. Why are we about abdication and no real salvation? Proclamation, declaration, foundation, complication, education. This is about our obligations for every generation. This has huge implications for the entire civilization. Here is an invitation to enhance determination and motivation, which I believe will lead to inspiration, innovation, legislation, and the realization that it is time for a new proclamation. Snaps.
My man.
That's it. That's all I got. Old white guy.
We was
coming
up
into
all
the
night
studio.
right now. How long
Yeah.
it took us to write that?
Well, you fell asleep and then I came.
Came out better.
After the 6 hours with you, and once you went to sleep, it all came right together for some reason.
Hey,
No,
goes
but
back.
I said that you're in this poem. You're in this poem. 'cause
Of course I am. I
you've
have to
been-
be.
You've been shot, you've been locked up, you've been on the streets, and you've also done all kinds of positive things. And now, look at you.
Look
You're a
at me.
star.
I'm a star, baby.
Yeah.
Hold on, y'all want to hear the
The
freestyle?
star
Yeah,
pitch.
here we go.
1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Big skids in the house. 1 2 1 2. Big skids in the house. Next part 2.
Yeah.
Y'all get the
Listen,
rest of it.
On that note, man, thanks for tuning in again, guys. Master and Covered Podcast, man. We want to say thank you and a big shout out to Charlie Rose stopping through,
It's an honor to
blessing
be
us with
here.
his presence. Rest in peace, John O'Connor. See you soon, Muggs. Make sure take care in this time.
Muggs told me get the link to this. She wants to see it.
Okay, I'll shoot you the link and we can text it to her. But definitely, she's got to see this. Again, man, Master Covered, share, like, subscribe. All right, thank y'all.
Take care. Thank you.